Love to meet the people, love to walk through and see the process. I learned a lot, and we shared a lot of things yesterday and came up with maybe a few more opportunities for his facility, and it's a great thing. And you know, he doesn't report to me, so that makes it even better. So he's going to go back to his boss and say, look at all this great stuff I came up with. and I'm good with that, because when he's successful, then I'm successful, the company's successful. That's really the approach we take. And we love collaboration. These are the things I'm going to talk about, and I really would like to make this interactive. I put some specific examples in here of things that we've done as a company, ideas, things that have worked for us. If you have any questions, I think I've got a lot of time. So feel free to raise your hand and interrupt me. I won't be offended. We'll try and hit things as we go, if something pops into your head. Talk about who we are as Saint-Gobain, so you can see what our company is like. Very diverse company. Talk about our energy management program and voluntary program participation. I'm going to be on the stump for Energy Star because we're big fans of that. And then some of the problems and challenges and solutions that we've put in place, things that have worked for us, and hopefully you can take back and implement in your facilities as well. So we are the world's largest building materials company. We're a global company headquartered in Paris. A lot of sales, 55 billion in sales, 193,000 employees worldwide. Headquartered in North America, which is what I'm responsible for, in Valley Forge, Pennsylvania, and almost $8 billion in sales and 19,000 employees across North America. About 135 manufacturing plants and about 130 construction outlets. We do kind of wholesale outlets through Randex. We have 18 business units in North America, and our main divisions are building materials. We have a division called Innovative Materials, comprised of a lot of things that you'll see, glass containers and distribution. So you'll see that the things that we talk about for energy apply across a diverse set of companies. So these are the facilities we have in North America. There's a lot of little blue dots there. Those are all of our small wholesale outlets. All the other colored dots are manufacturing facilities. And we'll highlight that today. Glass packaging. In North America, the United States, we're number 2 in glass packaging with 15 plants. We are very proud of the fact that we are the only glass container manufacturer or insulation manufacturer, but the glass container manufacturer with Energy Star labeled plants. So that's a big deal for us. Our Innovative Materials division, we're 1 or 2 in most of our activities, 69 plants, a lot of employees. Probably the brand that you might know the most is North Abrasives. That's our brand, but we're into abrasives, plastics. So you see the roof on the Dallas Cowboys Stadium there, we make that material. Make body armor in our ceramics division. We make substrates for LEDs. Technical fabrics division makes a fairly popular product. And then we have flat glass in the United States as well. In our construction products, this is our biggest division. A lot of plants there as well. We're into roofing, vinyl siding, fiber cement siding on the exterior side, insulation, gypsum, and ceilings on the interior side. So that's pretty much us for North America. A lot of different brands, a lot of different kinds of processes. So what do we do for energy for North America? Saint-Gobain considers energy as strategic to the company, and it's a really primary component of our overall business strategy. We are a construction products company primarily, and we focus on producing products that we think are going to be highly valued in the marketplace going forward. and those products are energy efficient products. So we take a kind of a global strategy with energy and what we produce, and we want to set the right example in how we produce those things in our own company. Our CEO, both in North America and globally, emphasize energy and energy efficiency. So from an operational excellence standpoint, we derive a lot of cost savings, which all the accountants like, external marketing activities, and process understanding and improvement. Anytime you look at energy, you're going to have to delve into the process. Anytime you do that, you're going to get energy efficiency improvements, you're going to get process improvements. So both of those things together bring a lot of value to the company. And as a company, we've had success in doing that. And then from a business standpoint, you talk about environmental, sustainability objectives, cost savings, and business continuity all play into that thing. So when people talk about sustainability, I think of it two ways. I think of it as business sustainability, which is first, because if the business goes under, then you don't have anything else, and then environmental sustainability. We do have a corporate energy policy, and this is our North American CEO, and we've had, I think, 3 of these guys roll through in the number of years that I've been doing energy, and every year, or every time we get a new CEO, we tweak this just a little bit because they all want to add their own little touch to it. But at the end of the day, it says energy is important to us, and we're going to pay attention to energy efficiency. Having this kind of a corporate energy policy is very important, and that's really where you start. It says that the guy at the top of the company, the gal at the top of the company, thinks it's important to us. When we first started energy efficiency as a corporate program, we wanted to have some things that people could kind of catch on or latch on to say these are important, and we're going to focus on these things. So we said, okay, we're going to make it simple. We're going to adopt kind of 4 key things, and if we do these things, everything else will fall into place, and they all fall into these areas. If we have these things in place, everything else we attempt to do is going to be successful because we have the right infrastructure. And that is set goals at the business unit level and at the facility level and tie those goals to incentive compensation. Because people work on what they get paid for, simple as that. If you miss this part, tied to incentive compensation, you're wasting your time, you don't have a goal. Mandate facility metering to identify savings and consumption reduction. This identifying savings is the key part, and then being able to sustain those savings, eyes into the process, eyes into your consumption over time. Metering will allow you to sustain those savings. If you don't have that, you're going to get a lot of peaks and valleys in what you do. Energy champions at the business unit level and energy teams at the facility level. These are the folks that really make it happen. And that's the infrastructure, the human capital in place that really helps the program be successful. These are the folks that really deserve all the credit for all the good stuff that goes on within Saint-Gobain. And then you have to budget for projects and services. I'll talk about a little bit more about low cost, no cost kinds of things. And the energy champions, the plants, and the businesses help make those happen. But at some point in time, you need some expertise, and so you have to spend a little money to save a little money. In our company, we take a very collaborative approach to energy management. And these are some of the things that we do, that we put in place. I guess this is a demonstration of how we collaborate within our own company. Every year we have an annual energy conference, and every plant is invited to attend and participate in that energy conference. They're invited to present on their success stories. I mentioned that we have 18 business units. In each of those business units, we have an energy champion. So early on in the year, we have an energy champions meeting. We invite those folks, well, we tell them they have to come. And where we kind of set the tone for the year, set the strategy, talk about things that we're going to do. It's a great way for those folks to talk among their peers and see what's working in their particular businesses. We do a lot of periodic energy calls. I'd like to say they're monthly calls, but some of our businesses choose to do it bi-monthly, and there's a couple that even do it quarterly, which is a little disappointing, but it is what it is. We have a whole suite of national account vendors, and those vendors help us do the right things and be consistent from an energy perspective across North America. And then our communications group within our company plays a key role in our energy program by helping us raise awareness both inside the company and outside the company. We have a corporate energy person, or a corporate communications person for all internal communications, and she's one of my best buds. And then we have a gal who helps us do the external stuff, and she's one of my best pals too, because anytime we need to communicate and send a message, it goes to that group, and they're happy to help raise the awareness. Talked about the energy conference. This is kind of a summary of our agenda. Every year we ask the CEO to attend and participate, and last year was the only year that he didn't attend in person, but he was kind enough to do a Q&A on video, which we posted on our energy portal, and people gathered, talks about how important energy is to our company. Every year we do recognition for outstanding achievement. We present an Excellence in Energy Efficiency Award every year. If a plant achieves 5% or better energy per unit improvement, they're recognized at the energy conference. The CEO typically passes out the award, take a photo, goes in a newsletter. It's a nice thing. And it does generate some competition. People see that and say, you know, I want to have my picture in the newsletter with the CEO next year. What do I have to do to get there? And then we work on the roadmap. Okay, what do you need to do? We talk about things on the energy portal. Every year I do a technology update, what's new. Everybody gets jazzed about wind and solar, but frankly, those are kind of down here from a payback standpoint. Let's talk about, you know, okay, where are they at, but then what are some of the other things that might be upcoming, that might be a little bit more cost effective. Every year we partner with somebody from Energy Star. One of our Energy Star partner companies comes in and talks about what their energy program looks like. And you'll see that it's weighted pretty heavily on plant presentations and a whole host of things in here, very diverse set of things, all the way from kilns to clean rooms to metering to pumps, culture change. You know, we try and cover a broad variety of topics every year, and these are all success stories from our individual plants. Every year we try and do some training. So this year we did training on combustion and waste heat recovery, and then everybody loves the plant tour. So we typically hold this near one of our plants, and we have enough plants that we can find attractive places to go to. So this past year was Niagara Falls, you know, so that was okay. We have resources on our energy portal. These are the kinds of things we have out there. Lots of different technology information, vendor presentations, all the success stories that are presented at the energy conference, both on projects and Kaizen events. We borrow from Energy Star partner companies. They share things, and we post that on our portal. Things about incentives, energy technology, metering, processing. You can see the list is pretty extensive. And then we've set ourselves up so that resources are available to our plant level folks, business unit level folks. Anytime they want to go look at something, we have a resource in place contractually and technically vetted that they can simply make a phone call and get that resource into their plan. That's why early on it's important to budget for projects and assessments and things like that. Well, if you know that you have an opportunity with steam, we have a steam guy. Or an opportunity, you know, gee, I could work on lighting, make the phone call. And everything's already in place. You don't have to get 3 bids. You don't have to worry about the price. It's all fully negotiated. So Bruce talked about working with purchasing department. Well, way we're set up, I report into our purchasing department, so it made it easy to get these contracts in place. That's an important thing. If the plant has to go through the hassle of 3 vendors, and you're not sure if it's the right technical person, and that kind of thing, it's a little bit tougher to get things done. So we put that in place.
So all those are external resources, or do you have any in-house resources also?
We do both.
Okay.
So I'm pretty good at some of this stuff, and we have folks in our company who are good at some of this stuff. And then we have, in every one of these categories, we also have an external person. So, long term, in my perfect world, we would have all of these as internal resources. On the other hand, when you do that, you kind of miss out on a few things. So, and technology changes. So it's good to have a balance. And there are some plants, frankly, who aren't going to budget anything, and they're going to try and get some freebies. That's okay. We want to improve. So we try and rely on each other as much as we can. At the end of the day, from a corporate overall North America standpoint, I want our business to have these key takeaways. That energy needs to be embedded in the company culture. Energy is a big winner. So if you're going to think about being a plant energy champion or being on an energy team, you're not going to waste your time, because what we do with energy will bring a lot of notoriety to your plant and to you personally. It's a home run. We've never had a circumstance ever where energy hasn't had a positive impact in our company. So hop on board. We're happy to have you. Think about what energy impacts. I probably could have worded that better. If you look at your plant and your operation, what does energy touch? It touches everything. So by looking at energy and making that correlation between energy in the process, or energy in the environment, energy cost savings, energy touches everything. It's a perfect vehicle to bring process improvement and cost savings to your company. And then, how do we add value? We add value in a number of ways. Think about it from a project standpoint. We never do an energy project where we don't bring some ancillary benefits. 100% of the energy projects always bring some other benefits to the table. So think about these things, keep in the back of your mind as a business and as a plant energy person, and you'll see that participating in the energy program is just going to make a huge amount of sense.
Fred, do you ever try to quantify those added values?
We do, and we typically quantify them on a project-by-project basis, or we do an energy Kaizen. For example, we incorporate 5S and we incorporate safety. So they're typically on a more discrete level. I don't take the time, don't have the resources really to try and aggregate all of that. But if you're going to submit a project, and okay, here's just the hard dollar savings, then it's okay. But if you can say, look, we're going to improve the process, we're going to improve safety, we're going to improve reliability, then that gets a lot more attention.
Do you do any benchmarking to compare facilities across the nation?
Absolutely. So each particular business unit that has similar processes will benchmark the various parts of that process with the other plants.
Is that visible to each plant?
It's visible within that business unit.
Okay, so they kind of promote some competition there and
Yeah.
Excuse me. You mentioned energy Kaizen. When you have what I would call in our language more of a shop floor Kaizen, is energy savings a requirement for a shop floor Kaizen? You brought in 5S into energy Kaizens, but if you're doing something else, you make energy part of that?
You can or you can't, it's up to you.
Right.
We do specific energy Kaizens in our plants as well.
Yeah, we do that also, then we bring in those, but we're trying to help, when we're doing shop floor Kaizen, make energy part of that, along with safety and quality. Just make it a given, make
Sure.
people think about it, but pretty soon you got so many requirements for a Kaizen, you don't even get to what you're supposed to do in the first place.
Well, that's a great idea, and that's something that I'll take back with me then. We do all kinds of Kaizens in the company, and I'm gonna go talk to our Six Sigma people and say, you know, energy needs to be a part of every one of these, like safety is. See if I get any traction with that. Talk a little bit about our voluntary program participation and the shameless plug for Energy Star, which is part of the reason why I'm here. We participated in a couple of voluntary programs, the Energy Star program with EPA and the Better Buildings, Better Plants program with DOE. I'm going to focus on what we do with EPA right now. We're big fans of this program. We actively support it. I'm here supporting it today. As Bruce talked about, there are a lot of things within that Energy Star program. People have been there, done that, proven it, and it's don't reinvent the wheel, it's there for you to take and use. A lot of tools, a lot of resources. Two things that are key for us: industry collaboration. It's just invaluable. I talk to companies like Toyota, and there's a list of probably 10 or 12 companies that I interact with on a regular basis. If I come up against something that I don't know how to solve, or we have issues, talk to one of my friends in those other companies, typically not competitors, but and so I don't interact with people who make the kinds of things that we make. But it's easy to talk to an automotive. We don't make cars, or we don't make tractors. So I can collaborate with people like that and say, how do you solve this? How do you do this in your company? You know, what can I do to help my program get moving? And then the recognition. You've probably noticed that in every one of the slides that have been up there so far. We won Sustained Excellence now. It's the 5th year that we've been Energy Star Partner of the Year. And we do a lot. We value that external recognition in our company. And we're a construction products company, so we try to leverage that in our marketing activities. The challenge for industry. Now, if you want to do this, you have to be an Energy Star partner. So that's the first step. And it's a thing that we've done in our company. Some plants say, great, I want to do it. And other plants say, that's not worth the hassle, I'm not going to. And so we have a mix. But some plants have done it, and some plants have been pretty successful. And I wanted to take what we've done with the challenge for industry and just give you some practical examples of savings that we've seen in our own company. So maybe give you some ideas. You know, anytime we do recognition, we talk about the Plant Energy Champion, and we give props to the plant manager and the general manager and the business unit energy champion. You know, recognition is cheap, it's free, it's easy, and everybody loves to get it. So it's really nice, you know, you send out the slides, and the plant manager sees his name up there. Hey, I'm gonna be happy to pursue this.
I just had a question. Are your plant energy champions or business unit energy champions full-time? Are those full-time job classifications, or is that
In two of our businesses that are very energy intensive, the business unit energy champion is a full-time position. And in the rest of the businesses that are less energy intensive, it's a part-time position. And then at the plant level, in every circumstance, it's a part-time position. So that person has other job duties. I would say that the really energy intensive plants for us, we might have half-time participation as the plant energy champion. So that person might have maintenance responsibilities, 50% and 50% energy champion. And it comes and goes, as you would expect. But this particular plant, through some very simple things, improved by 23% in 2 years and got the recognition from the EPA. So when Bruce says, 10% is an easy goal, the plant hasn't been doing much, I think 10% is very doable. And we pass out our Excellence in Energy Efficiency Award, and this particular plant has won it 2 years in a row. Simple things that they did. And I talked about energy kaizens. For us, that's a focused improvement event. It's a week-long event. We do 5S, we do safety. But it's a group of folks within the plant who are going to dedicate themselves to that particular topic for a week. and they don't go do their regular job, they focus on this. And so we did an energy Kaizen, and that the projects that came out of this, they were all low cost, no cost. The plan improved by 50%. So very simple things. Occupancy sensors got us just a little bit. The turn it off program, standard shutdown procedure, we picked up 0.5% HVAC, 5.5% in lights, 6.5% in equipment, turn it off, and then we put in some insulation. Very straightforward. And compressed air, lowered the plant pressure by 13 pounds and fixed the leaks. So all of this, very much low cost, no cost kind of thing, improved this plant's energy performance by 15%. And then a lighting retrofit project that had a good payback got us another 8%. Now this particular plant is not very energy intensive, and it's a fairly small plant. So for the folks here that have smaller facilities, you might expect to do things like this. Fort Smith, Arkansas for us is a very large plant, a very energy intensive plant, and they were able to get 10% in 2 years. Process reformulation. You might not think about that, but this particular plant developed a new product that sinters at a lower temperature, and we picked up 4% on a per unit basis. Paying attention to burner efficiency, burner tuning got us 2%. Process controls got us 4%. So just some examples of some ways where we got 10% in two very different kinds of plants. Again, we seek recognition, and we have glass container plants that are Energy Star certified plants. I think we're up to 5 plants now, and here's one example in Sapulpa, Oklahoma. This particular plant rebuilt a furnace with a 4-hard. You got to get a nice step change there. They did a great compressed air project and shut down a 1,000 horsepower compressor. Worked on natural gas leaks, which is something you don't typically think about doing, but we hired a third-party company to find those leaks, and then we fixed them. And then they did a lighting upgrade, so this was a little more project-focused, and they brought their score up. I think when we started looking at this, they were probably down in the 50s, and over the last several years, they got above the 75% hurdle, and got some very nice recognition. We held a great event. We brought in the Lieutenant Governor and lots of state and local officials. We brought in customers, and it was a whole night. So it's one way to leverage recognition through USEPA to develop some goodwill with state and local officials and with your customers. Yeah.
Do you do any waste heat recovery and generate any electricity out of your gas plants?
On the glass plants,
Yeah.
it's something we look at. We're going to get there. We don't do it yet today.
Okay.
We will get there. I've been working on it for a long time. And we will get there. We're close. Energy-related communications. You know, this is an example of a customer event that we did at a plant that got an Energy Star label. Our CertainTeed business created this advertisement that was in the American Institute of Architects trade show. I thought it was pretty cool, a nice little play on the Energy Star thing. This is our corporate headquarters for North America. So we have a nice Energy Star banner there. And then when we get the recognition, the CEO sent out a nice letter to all employees. So there's just some examples of things that we've done relative to communications and recognition. So I tell our plants that energy is a winner, and energy gets attention for us at the levels of senior management, both in North America and in Paris. These are some results for us. Again, the Energy Star Awards. Last year we had some very nice savings. 5-year improvement of about 15% of energy per unit. So about 3% is where we usually get year over year. And then all the ancillary benefits that go along with the energy efficiency improvement, environmental benefits, and so on. We also participate in the Better Buildings, Better Plants Challenge. We get the things that we have access to there. A big deal for us is improved access to Oak Ridge National Lab. We pick up some ideas on newer technology through the DOE. We do get funded assessments and technical collaboration through the DOE, and again, collaboration with other partners, which is, I think, invaluable. So problems and challenges and some solutions. You can go into a plant and say, hey, energy's a winner, we want to do this, blah, 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 and they'll say, thanks for the great advice, but look what happened to the housing market. I can't focus on energy. I'm in serious trouble here. And the housing market started to turn, but last year at this time, we got to a peak of about 2.2 million new housing starts, and last year at this time, we're at 516,000. So we also had other businesses tied to this great decline. Automotives went down for a while, and our abrasives business really supplies a lot of products to the automotive industry, so they were hurting. And the big challenges are that all of our plants are really designed to run 24/7, 365 continuous operation. A lot of them were temporarily or permanently closed. We had some plants running as little as 4 days a month, a week, a month. Cut back on shifts. When you don't have sales, then you don't have technical resources available to you. We laid off people, a lot of people, particularly technical resources. And of course, there's no capital. And that's just, so what do? So you can take one of two approaches when you look at energy efficiency. You can focus on culture change, or you can focus on projects. When we first started our energy program, we had a pretty good balance between culture change, low cost, no cost kinds of things, and projects. And when capital dried up and resources dried up, guess which way the teeter-totter tilted. We spent a huge percentage of our time on that and a very small percentage of our time on that. So we were forced to do that, and frankly, I think it's made our energy program a lot better. You get near-term savings, you get the low-hanging fruit first, you establish a proper baseline. A lot of the stuff is easy to do, and it really keeps folks engaged in the plants. And of course, the capital part of it is more longer term. So some of the things we do for low cost, no cost, energy kaizens, focused improvements. We, in our company, management support for the event and follow through is key. The vice presidents in those businesses, VPs of manufacturing, insist on regular feedback on targeting the 30-day, 60-day, 90-day list that comes out of that energy kaizen event. So we're going to invest the people, the human resources into that event, and we want to ensure that you as a plant bring us back to savings from that. It's not about just saying, look what we found. It's about look what we got, look what we did, and then did we sustain it. Another good thing relative to energy kaizens, a lot of times we'll go into a plant that doesn't have a strong energy team or no team at all, and we come out of that event with a strong energy team. Here's an example. In one plant of good communication around the kaizen. We did a kaizen in this plant, and this particular plant found the opportunity to only run a chiller 25 weeks a year, and the past is one of those things we just left it on. And so we turned it off half the year, saved us $23,000 a year, and we relayed that back to the plant. You just bought a Dodge truck. Dodge truck, okay? So this is a plant that's in a more rural part of the country, So it was great, and that communication, it sinks in with the people doing this kind of stuff. So I thought that was pretty cool. So communication fitting into the plant culture, I think is important.
Quick question for you. The the going after the low-hanging fruit first approach, have you considered, would you go back and look at that as kind of a more blended approach instead of going after all of that low-hanging fruit? Maybe blending some of those low-hanging fruit opportunities with some longer payback to achieve a bigger project with a faster payback as opposed to taking all the easy stuff first and then trying to justify that longer payback stuff later?
We do that,
Okay.
and it depends on a particular project. Certain businesses like to cherry pick, but then, like you said, now you had a 2-year project that you took away all the 2-month paybacks, and now you've got a 4-year project, and you're never really going to get all this stuff unless you blended it together. But really, if you think about it, let's take compressed air, for example. If you go through and fix your compressed air leaks, and you're able to turn off a compressor in a plant, now you've established the proper baseline. If you didn't fix your compressed air leaks before, you wanted to do a compressed air assessment, and maybe it said you're going to buy some capital equipment, do this and that. Now you've spent too much money on buying too much equipment. So there's both parts of that. If you're going to invest money anyway in a project, there are parts of the project that are going to have shorter paybacks and longer. Sometimes it makes sense to blend those. Other times, you really have to get the right baseline before you invest anything. So we look at it both ways.
Do you leverage local assistance, like local rebates? Do those get factored in?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And a lot of times that's the difference between doing a project or not.
Do you actually bring those back to the plant, or do you keep them at the corporate level?
If it's for the project, they go to the project. I like to have them.
Just asking.
But if it's a capital project, that's the way it is.
Have you ever broached, or do you know of anyone else who's been able to recycle those dollars and dedicate them to the next project with their accounting approval?
I know of companies that do that, and I'm jealous,
Yeah.
but we don't. I'm working on it.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll get there. Bruce was up here, and a lot of the things they've done in Toyota have been fantastic. They started the energy program long before us, and he's talked about standard work. One of the things that we took advantage of, really through the Energy Star program and our relationship with Toyota, was the modified shutdown procedure. When we saw this financial crisis and the housing market went toilet, we really had to focus on shutdown procedures where we didn't have to before, because we ran pretty much 24/7. So being able to leverage what Toyota had already done, modify that for our processes, and put it in place really saved us a lot. Just one advantage of being in that bigger partnership. Some other examples that we did: consolidating facilities, that's never a good thing. Modifying operating schedules. Look to find the minimum energy mode for all of our buildings, and then of course you can always go lower. Encouraging out-of-the-box thinking. One of the things we seldom do is challenge ourselves and ask ourselves what if or why. It's very easy to be routine, very easy to say, this is the way we've always done it. Challenging the process engineer. Boy, these folks, you can't touch my process. Wow, the sky's going to fall if you do this. I think you've all been there, but you absolutely can challenge the process engineers, and then when you put their feet to the fire, you'll be amazed at how they can come back and come up with good ideas. We have a saying internally, and I don't know where it came from, but creativity before capital. That's part of our kind of Six Sigma process. So again, use what you need when you need it, and it is possible to run your plant with less energy. Some other low-cost, no-cost kinds of things that we do: utilizing external resources, collaboration, Energy Star, culture change, raising awareness. We take advantage of the plant video screens. A lot of times, that's an untapped resource in the plant for the energy message. We do a lot with internal publications, and then you can talk about in your plans how to save energy at home, because when that person becomes engaged at home, then they'll think maybe they don't want to leave that dock door open in the middle of winter. This is a big challenge right here, engineering awareness. Trying to get the engineering folks in the company, as Bruce mentioned, engaged early on so that they're not buying things that then you have to go back and fix later on. So getting the engineering folks and the process folks involved in your energy team is a great thing to do. And typically those are corporate folks. It's a challenge for the people at the plant that you should absolutely challenge your corporate folks and say, are you doing the right thing by my plant, or are you not? Are you just doing what you've always done? Some more things, take advantage of the downtime to do a lot of the basic stuff that you probably should be doing anyway. With the fuel switching, and really the key on this slide is drive the concept of sustained savings so that when sales improve, we are going to be incrementally more profitable, more sustainable as a company. So success sells, and it absolutely sells. Success leads to increased senior management support, visibility, and investment in energy efficiency. One of the problems that energy folks tend to have is they tend to be a little more technical focused and maybe not as people focused or salesman focused. You gotta be able to sell. Leverage the credibility from the results of all the low cost, no cost kinds of things that you did to get some increased funding for capital. It's an easy thing to say, look, we've taken care of our business, we've done everything we can to drive the baseline to the proper level. Now, senior management, you have to step up. And when you can demonstrate that, our experience is that senior management does step up. Always anticipate process improvements. Everybody says we don't have any capital for energy projects. Okay, well, let's work on a process project. We always have money for process. So make the connection. What about capital for process improvements paid for out of energy savings? Could we do something like that? Shazam, I didn't think of that. Okay, and then due diligence on the low cost, no cost things with demonstrated results. Make sure you do the due diligence on the capital projects. Get the engineering folks involved, the processing folks, so you're not putting something in your plant that you wish you would have focused more on. I think this is probably my last slide. Savings and improvements are generally retained over time. The effort put forth in 1 year really does yield benefits in the subsequent years. It's important to track and benchmark so that you see your trend going down. If you don't do that, you don't have the right kind of metering and so on, it's easy to say, boy, look what we got with this big project, and then, boy, it's really easy for it to drift right back up. I always preach this, ancillary benefits are expected with energy efficiency. So some easy examples, you do a lighting project, you're going to reduce energy consumption but improve light levels. You do a compressed air project, you're going to improve plant pressure consistency, which reduces process variation, reduces moisture, which saves on maintenance costs, and you can probably turn off a compressor and get some redundancy so you're not bringing in rentals, which burn diesel fuel, which are an environmental issue, potential diesel spills, all that good stuff. Do a kiln project, and you can go through this kind of thing with any number of projects that are energy focused. If you think through the benefits, but kiln project, reduce smoke in the plant, reduce car rebuild, kiln car rebuild, and improve quality and throughput. I mean, these are things that we see on a consistent basis anytime we do these kinds of projects, anytime we touch an energy project. So hopefully I left you with some practical ideas. There's a few things you can take way back to your plans for your business. Any more questions?
Do you have any plans in the 6 Southwest states? I didn't see,
The 6 Southwest states would
well,
be
Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico, Utah, Wyoming, or Colorado.
Nevada, yes.
Yeah.
Arizona, yes. New Mexico. Very small plant, Colorado. you go one state further west, we have a lot.
You talked about always being able to go lower, and I wondered if you set an initial energy savings goal of 10% reduction, do you have a feeling over time when these plants have made many of the improvements, what would you expect for a plant ongoing for an energy savings goal, or would the energy savings goal become a 0% reduction after a certain number of improvements have been made?
I think it depends on the plant. In some of our plants, maintaining the status quo is not bad because if you look at, say, a large furnace is subject to wear, that particular furnace will deteriorate in efficiency over time. So the challenge is to at least maintain status quo and not accept that deterioration as an excuse for energy to go up. In other cases, I would say, if you don't have that circumstance, 2 to 3% ongoing is obtainable, certainly obtainable.
I have a follow-up question to that. Do you give the different plants kind of a benchmark cost per unit kilowatt hour of energy efficiency so that they can see the cost of energy consumption versus the cost of energy efficiency? Do you provide them those kinds of tools? Like, for example, it costs you 2 cents a kilowatt hour to do this energy efficiency improvement, but your cost of energy from your supplier is 6 cents a kilowatt hour, so it's just another way of...
Now, we typically don't break it down that way.
Okay.
More on here's the value of the project on that kind of basis.
So assuming we get a nice big boom in housing construction and productivity output becomes key, how are you going to maintain control of your very organized energy management program if production levels can go back up as quickly as they came down?
If production levels go up for us, it's going to really help our energy program because we're not going to start-stop.
Okay.
We lose a lot of efficiency in start-stop. We'll be able to, I think, spend more time, more focus on energy because we'll have more resources and it'll become more important to us because energy will be a bigger cost to the company then. So I see a lot of benefits as overall energy per unit as production picks up.
I've just seen some places where they're so intent on getting products out the door that they just lose sight of all of it.
I don't think that's going to happen with us, and I think we have all the right things in place to ensure that we're going to continue to improve year over year. As we see the housing market start to pick up, internally we should probably set some more aggressive goals year over year. That's what I would expect from our businesses.
Any other questions for Brad? Well, thank you very much, and